Chapter 4260. A gentle force blocked the suction force of the universe's black hole. Lu Ming was safe and sound as he flew toward the center of the universe. Soon, he reached the side of the third demon sword. He could see that the third demon sword was very handsome. He was tall and sturdy, and there was a demonic look in his eyes. His body was shackled by 8 pitch-black chains. One of them was in his body, while the other extended into the depths of the universe's black hole. The energy of these chains seems to be similar to the void energy. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat when he saw this. When he got closer, he realized that these chains were also made of a kind of energy. It was very similar to the void energy, but many times more condensed. It looked like they were real. You just need to cut off one of the chains, and I'll be able to escape. With your taboo energy, it shouldn't be difficult. The third demon sword said. All right, I'll do it now. Lu Ming said. He felt a sense of urgency. He wanted to save the third demon sword as soon as possible. With the protection of the third demon sword, he did not have to worry about the suction force of the black hole. He stepped forward and formed a battle sword with his taboo energy. Then he slashed at one of the chains. Clang! The sound of metal colliding rang out. The chain vibrated, and a mark appeared on it. It's so hard, but it's effective. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. As long as it was effective, he would be able to cut it off sooner or later. The third demon sword's eyes also lit up. He had been trapped here for a long time. Now, he finally saw hope of getting out. Clang, clang, clang. Lu Ming kept waving his sword and slashing at the chain. The chain kept vibrating and the mark became deeper and deeper, gradually sinking in. It seemed that it would not take long to cut it off. This was different from the chain that helped the Sky Heart tribe refine the entrance. That kind of chain was very thick, and it needed to be completely refined, which took a lot of time. Although this kind of chain was very solid, it was not thick. Furthermore, he only needed to cut it off, not refine it. Therefore, the time needed was much shorter. Just as Lu Ming was slashing at the chains, a dragon's roar resounded from the battlefield where Lu Ming had collected the broken divine weapons. With a flash of light, 9 divine dragons pulling a war chariot appeared. The person sitting on the war chariot was the heavenly human tribe expert that Lu Ming had seen before. At this moment, the heavenly human powerhouse frowned slightly. He scanned the battlefield and muttered, I keep feeling that something is wrong. What exactly is wrong? The celestial race stepped out, walked out of the war chariot, and began to patrol the nearby area. No, it's broken divine weapons. There are fewer broken divine weapons. Suddenly, a low growl came from the heavenly human tribe powerhouse. This battlefield had existed for countless years. There were broken palaces, broken planets, corpses, and broken divine weapons everywhere. Therefore, the last time he came, he didn't pay much attention to it and left after a glance. However, after he left, he still felt that something was amiss. Thus, after walking around in a circle, he returned to this place and carefully observed it. Finally, he discovered something. Many broken divine weapons were missing. The broken divine weapons wouldn't run away on their own. Someone must have taken them away. There were only a few patrollers in this cage. He knew all of them very well. It couldn't have been them who took them away. Who exactly is it? Could it be that the existence in a black hole has escaped? But how is that possible? The heavenly human powerhouse pondered, but he couldn't figure it out. Spread the news first. I'll look around. No matter who it is, they won't have a good ending. The heavenly human powerhouse's eyes flashed with a fierce light. He sent a few messages through the illusory divine jade, then stepped out and landed on the war chariot. Let's go! The heavenly human powerhouse shouted. The 9 divine dragons roared, twisted their bodies, and flew into the distance. Clang, clang, clang. In the black hole where the third demon sword was, Lu Ming continued to slash with all his might. After his continuous slashes, the chain was finally about to be cut off. Only a thin layer was left. Soon, the third demon sword was excited and expectant. How many years had it been trapped? He couldn't even count. It had been at least a few dozen stellar years. It was a torture to be trapped alone in a black hole that never saw the light of day for such a long distance. Not many people in the world could withstand such torture. Many people would go crazy, but he had withstood it. Now he finally saw hope. He was finally going to be free. Oh no! Suddenly, the third demon sword's expression changed. He looked into the distance. He heard the roar of a dragon. Then, 9 divine dragons flew over quickly with a war chariot. The patrollers have been discovered. Lu Ming, you have to work harder. Otherwise, both of us will die, the third demon sword said. It's that guy. Lu Ming also noticed the patrollers. His face was very serious. He forced out all the power in his body and slashed at the chain. Clang, clang. The last layer of the chain was even thinner. It was about to break. The patrollers also noticed this scene. Shocking, murderous intent burst out of his eyes. Kid, where did you come from? Do you want to die? Kill. The patrollers shouted. They stood on the war chariot, holding a sky halberd. The power of heaven burst out and the halberd slashed at the black hole. Suddenly, an incomparably huge halberd condensed and slashed at the center of the black hole. Its power was extremely terrifying. Even through the black hole, Lu Ming could feel the horror of this attack. This person's combat strength is so strong. He's definitely not an ordinary divine master. His combat strength is probably close to the level of the Lord of Heaven. Lu Ming thought in his mind. The battle sword in his hand did not stop slashing at all. In the blink of an eye, the huge halberd slashed at them. However, this was a black hole. No matter how strong this person was, his attack was still affected by the black hole. The closer he was to Lu Ming, the weaker his attack became. Sword whistle. The third demon sword shouted and let out a long whistle. A black light spurted out of his mouth. This black light turned into a sword light. The sword light was shocking and flew out. Boom! The black sword light collided with the halberd, causing an earth-shattering explosion. However, the energy was quickly swallowed up by the black hole. The patroller's attack was blocked. The third demon sword's body swayed, shaking the chains and making clanging sounds. Lu Ming, work harder. This guy's cultivation is limited. A part of his attack was swallowed by the black hole. I can barely block it. If 1 or 2 more people come, we'll be finished. The third demon sword shouted. At the same time, he used all the power he could to resist. Unfortunately, he was sealed. He could only use a little of his power. In the face of such a situation, he was not very confident. I've already used all my strength. You have to hold on. Soon, we'll succeed. Lu Ming shouted and continued to slash at the chains. Chapter 4261. You want to escape? Don't even think about it. Third demon sword, I didn't expect you to not give up after being locked up for so many years. Today I will kill you. The patroller shouted and continued to attack. Huge halberds condensed and slashed at the third demon sword and Lu Ming. He did not dare to rush into the black hole. The black hole was too dangerous. Even if he rushed in with his strength, it would be very dangerous. Moreover, his strength would drop sharply. At that time, it would not be the third demon sword or Lu Ming who would die, but him. Only by attacking outside the black hole could he affect the third demon sword. Then, when the other helpers arrived, the third demon sword would be dead. Sword cry. Demon sword slays gods. The third demon sword roared. He could not move his hands and feet, but endless sword chi rushed out of his body and turned into terrifying sword light, colliding with the patroller's attack. However, the third demon sword was having a hard time resisting. After all, he was sealed, and the power he could use was limited. After a long time, his strength would not be enough. Moreover, the third demon sword had to protect Lu Ming from being swallowed by the black hole. This also required a lot of power. His power was scattered, and he was even more vulnerable. At this moment, the gentle power that enveloped Lu Ming's body trembled. Lu Ming felt the suction force of the black hole seeping in bit by bit. His body felt like it was being cut by a knife. Lu Ming roared in his heart. Ignoring the pain, he crazily burst out with forbidden power and kept slashing. Buzz. Suddenly, the sound of a chain vibrating was heard. Broken. This chain was finally cut by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes lit up, and the third demon sword was even more ecstatic. The seal is no longer complete. Watch me break the seal and kill everyone. Ha! The third demon sword laughed crazily like a demon. Boom! A powerful aura burst out from his body. Even the black hole in the universe trembled. Lu Ming did not know if it was an illusion, but he felt that the black hole in the universe was somewhat distorted. Clang, clang. The remaining 7 chains trembled violently, swaying and emitting unpleasant sounds. Outside the black hole, the patrolman's expression changed drastically. Fear flashed in the depths of his eyes. He was well aware of the third demon sword's strength. He was extremely terrifying. He was one of the taboo's proudest disciples. Countless people from the heavenly palace had died at his hands during the Great War. If the third demon sword were to break free, he would be no match for the third demon sword. He would probably be killed by the third demon sword. However, he could not retreat at this moment. If he retreated, the heavenly palace would not let him off. Furthermore, the third demon sword was still trapped. He might still have a chance. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared on the other side of the black hole. This was also a member of the celestial race. He was middle-aged and had a head of golden hair. He wore a purple-gold battle armor and had an incomparably powerful aura. The patrolman from before was overjoyed. His helper had arrived. The third demon sword is about to break free. Let's go all out and kill him. The patrolman from before roared. Kill! The experts of the celestial race who came from behind shouted and directly attacked. Terrifying attacks shot towards the black hole. This person's combat strength was also incomparably terrifying. He was even stronger than the patrolman from before. Even among the divine masters, he was considered an expert. The patrolman from before also attacked with all his might. The combined power of the 2 experts was even more terrifying. However, the third demon sword's face revealed a ferocious expression. Terrifying sword light constantly rushed out from his body. These sword light converged into a huge demon sword and slashed horizontally. Bang, bang, bang. The attacks of the 2 experts of the celestial race were directly split in half. They could not even get close to the third demon sword and Lu Ming. The gentle power on Lu Ming's body became even stronger. The power of the universe's black hole could no longer affect him in the slightest. Break for me! The third demon sword roared. He waved his arms and shook his legs. His entire body twisted like a divine dragon. Bang, bang, bang. The remaining 7 chains constantly vibrated and emitted a dazzling light. However, the 8 chains were a single entity. The power of the seal combined with the power of the black hole formed a complete seal. Now that one of the chains was broken, it was no longer complete. The sealing power was much weaker than before. Under the third demon sword's struggle, the 7 chains shook violently. Crack. In the next moment, a cracking sound could be heard from the chains as cracks began to appear on them. Outside the black hole, the expressions of the 2 experts of the celestial race changed drastically. The third demon sword was about to break free. This is not good. If this continues, we are no match for him. This matter is no longer something we can solve. We have to inform Lord Heavenly Master. The patrolman from before said, I have already informed Lord Heavenly Master before I came. Let's hold on for a while. When Lord Heavenly Master arrives, the matter will naturally be resolved. The burly man from the celestial race in purple and gold armor behind him said, That's good. Kill. The patrolman from before shouted and continued to attack. An existence of the third demon sword's level was no longer something they could deal with. The only thing they could do now was to delay the third demon sword as much as possible before he broke free. Once Lord Heavenly Master arrived, the third demon sword would not be able to cause any trouble. However, the third demon sword's aura was getting stronger and stronger. It was as if he had turned into a peerless demon sword. Every move and every part of his body had terrifying sword light rushing out. A casual attack could block the attacks of the 2 experts of the celestial race. And he used even more strength to break free from the seal. What powerful strength! What cultivation level is the third demon sword at? It seems to be comparable to the patriarch of the celestial race who attacked the primordial divine lake. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. The patriarch of the celestial race who captured him back then was earth-shattering and had left a deep impression on him. The third demon sword gave him the feeling that he was no weaker than the patriarch of the celestial race. And he was only Xian Yanqing's senior brother in his previous life. Then how strong was the taboo of Xian Yanqing's father in his previous life? Crack, crack. More and more cracks appeared on the chains. In the end, they were densely packed together. Bang. In the next moment, one of the chains with the most cracks finally could not bear it and exploded with a bang. Boom. As the chain exploded, the third demon sword's aura became even stronger. It rushed out like a volcanic eruption. The chains could not bear it anymore. Bang, 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 the remaining 6 chains exploded one after another. In the blink of an eye, all the chains had exploded. The third demon sword had broken free. Swoosh! A terrifying sword light rushed out from his body, as if it was going to split the black hole open, causing the black hole to constantly distort. Oh no, he has broken free. The patrolman's expression changed drastically. He turned around and tried to escape. It's too late to leave now. A cold voice came from the third demon sword's mouth. Chapter 4262. At this moment, the third demon sword's long hair was dancing in the wind. He was like a peerless beast that had just been released from its cage. He waved his hand and took Lu Ming with him. He took a step forward and broke through the suction force of the black hole. Kill! Immediately afterward, he slashed at the void with his bare hands. 2 terrifying sword gleams slashed toward the 2 heavenly human powerhouses at an incredible speed. Anyway, given Lu Ming's eyesight, he could not see it clearly at all. Oh no! The 2 heavenly human powerhouses' faces changed. They realized that they had been locked on and could not escape. They could only fight with all their might. The 2 heavenly human powerhouses unleashed their full strength. They pushed their combat strength to the limit and attacked with their strongest attack. At the same time, they set up layers of defense on their bodies. There were at least 100 layers of defense, hoping to block the attack of the third demon sword. However, when the sword light of the third demon sword slashed down, their attacks and defenses were completely vulnerable. With a flash of sword light, the 2 heavenly human experts were split into 2 halves from the center of their eyebrows. Their eyes were still wide open, revealing a look of disbelief and unwillingness. However, their life auras had already disappeared without a trace. They were dead. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. The 2 experts of the heavenly human tribe were genuine divine master realm existences. Moreover, they were top experts in the divine master realm. Even if they were compared to the Lord of Heaven, they were not much weaker. However, in front of the third demon sword, they were as weak as babies. They were easily killed by the sword. Was this the strength of the third demon sword? It had definitely surpassed the divine master realm. Let's go. We need to find a weak point in the space and break through it to get out. The third demon sword said. Senior, let's take the 9 divine dragons with us. Lu Ming said. The divine dragon clan was already very weak. The 9 divine dragons were all peak emperor gods. If they were brought back to the dragon clan's mother planet, the dragon clan's strength would increase by a lot. Lu Ming had an affinity with dragons. He had a special feeling for the dragon race. If he could save them, he would do his best to save them. These 9 divine dragons have all reached the peak of the God Emperor realm. Furthermore, they have been honing themselves for many years. The chances of them becoming divine masters are pretty high. Bringing them out will also increase our strength. The third demon sword nodded and waved his hand. Several sword lights flew out and slashed at the 9 dragons. The bindings on their bodies were broken and the 9 dragons regained their freedom. Once the 9 dragons regained their freedom, their bodies shrank and returned to the third demon sword's side. They turned into 9 middle-aged men and bowed to the third demon sword. Thank you, Third Origin Venerate, for saving us. You're welcome. I was very familiar with Ao Qian of your dragon clan back then. We're all family. The third devil sword Dao. Senior, there's one more thing. The people from the Sky Heart race are trapped in the heavenly prison. Should we bring them along? Lu Ming asked. No, we're still in danger. If the heavenly venerates from the heavenly palace come, we won't be able to escape. We can't bring more people with us. Let's go first. The third demon sword shook his head and waved his hand. He brought Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons with him and broke through space. The third demon sword's speed was too fast. In a few flashes, a large number of black holes flashed past. In the next moment, they arrived in a part of the starry sky. The third demon sword's eyes were like lightning as he scanned his surroundings. The space here is relatively weak. I'm going to break the space here. The third demon sword attacked before he could finish his sentence. He stretched out a palm and clenched it in the void. Suddenly, the boundless energy in the surrounding area gathered in the third demon sword's hand and turned into a pitch-black demon sword. The third devil sword slashed out, causing the space in front of it to vibrate violently. The space trembled like water waves. The space here is really terrifying. No wonder it can be used as a prison for divine masters. Even those above the divine master realm are imprisoned here. It's unbelievably stable. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. In the primitive universe, with his cultivation, he could easily break open the space. However, with the third demon sword's cultivation, it was actually so difficult for him to break open the space here. This was the weakest point of the space, but the third demon sword's attack only caused ripples in the space. This showed how stable the space here was. Given the strength of the third demon sword, if it were in the primitive universe, it could easily cut a star river into 2. It could even cut several star rivers and destroy countless stars. The third demon sword shouted. His body surged with terrifying fluctuations. More sword lights formed and slashed at the void in front of him. The vibrations in the void ahead became even more intense, and the number of ripples increased as well. Slowly, a crack began to appear. Soon. At this rate, the space here would soon be completely connected and they would be able to leave. However, at this moment, the third demon sword's expression suddenly changed. He did not continue to attack the void in front of him. Instead, he suddenly turned around and slashed at the void in the distance. At this moment, a golden long spear suddenly appeared in the void and pierced toward Lu Ming and the others. However, the sword gleam of the third demon sword slashed out and slashed toward the long spear. Clang! With an earth-shattering boom, the long spear flew out and was caught by an old man. It was an elder from the heavenly human tribe. His hair was a little dry, but his body was still burly. He was not the heavenly human tribe ancestor that Lu Ming had met last time. This one was much younger. He was wearing a long golden robe, and a terrifying aura emanated from him. Heavenly Master, the Heavenly Master of the Heavenly Palace. A divine dragon at the peak of the divine emperor realm exclaimed, his face pale. Heavenly Master, is that a title? Lu Ming muttered to himself. Over gods, heavenly masters, and source venerables. The titles he had heard seemed to be for existences that surpassed the divine master realm. Lu Ming guessed that these titles were just titles for existences that surpassed the divine master realm. They were not the names of realms. Third demon sword, I did not expect you to be able to break out of the seal. This is really beyond my expectations. I originally wanted to suppress you to death and let you die in regret, but now it seems that I have no choice but to kill you. The heavenly master held the spear in his hand and stepped on the air. His robe fluttered in the wind and his aura became more and more terrifying. Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons felt that it was difficult to breathe. Moreover, the third demon sword had blocked most of the aura for them. Otherwise, they would have been reduced to ashes under this aura. I'm afraid you can't kill me alone, the third demon sword said coldly. The third demon sword said coldly. His aura continued to rise and he seemed to have turned into a peerless demon sword. Chapter 4263. The third demon sword revealed its sharpness as if it had transformed into a peerless demon sword. Bang! The third demon sword took a step forward. The void beneath his feet shook violently as countless sword chi filled the air. At the same time, a huge sword condensed in his palm and slashed down at the heavenly palace's heavenly venerate. The sword instantly traversed hundreds of millions of miles of void and slashed at the heavenly venerate. Heavenly annihilation. The heavenly venerate said coldly. The long spear in his hand continued to spin like a drill. A wisp of gray energy burst out from the center of the long spear. As the long spear spun, the gray energy expanded rapidly. It rushed toward the third demon sword like a gray fog. The gray fog-like energy was extremely terrifying. Wherever it passed, the void seemed to be corroded. Boom! The third demon sword's attack collided with the heavenly venerate's attack. The sword light from the third demon sword vibrated continuously as traces of corrosion appeared on its surface. In the end, the sword light exploded with a loud bang. The gray fog was one of the 4 strongest heavenly powers of the heavenly human tribe, the heavenly annihilation energy. The heavenly annihilation energy was said to be able to obliterate everything. It was filled with destructive power and was extremely terrifying. However, the heavenly venerate's heavenly annihilation energy was also blocked by the third demon sword. The two of them were evenly matched in this exchange. Third demon sword, your strength is only SOSO. Let's see how many of my moves you can block. Heavenly annihilation, heavenly punishment. The heavenly venerate roared. He held the long spear in his right hand and thrust it forward. This time, the heavenly annihilation energy was more condensed. It condensed into a spear light and pierced toward the third demon sword. In addition, his left hand burst out white lightning, exuding an extremely terrifying aura. This was the heavenly punishment energy. The heavenly venerate used 2 types of heavenly powers at the same time to launch a terrifying attack on the third demon sword. If my strength was not at its peak, I would definitely kill an old fellow like you. It's not like I haven't killed you before. The third demon sword said coldly. However, his expression was very solemn. As he had said, he had been sealed for so many years. Although he had swallowed a few broken swords brought by Lu Ming, his strength had not recovered to its peak. This heavenly venerate was extremely powerful, and he had no choice but to focus. He no longer cared about breaking through the void to escape. The third demon sword raised its strength to the limit. Sword light flashed as it shot towards the Empyrean. The 2 strongest powerhouses began a battle of the peak. Boom, boom. A huge explosion occurred in that area. The 2 of them continued to fight. In the blink of an eye, it was unknown how many moves they had exchanged. The heavenly venerates venerate. The spatial crack that had been torn open by the third devil sword had automatically healed. Lu Ming furrowed his brows tightly, feeling somewhat anxious. Heavenly God. If the heavenly God won. Lu Ming had just thought of this when he saw a few rainbow lights flying toward him at high speed from afar. Heavenly God of. There were a total of 3 figures. All of them were heavenly venerate. The heavenly palace's heavenly venerate had arrived. They had most likely set off with the heavenly venerate. However, the heavenly venerate was too fast and had arrived first. The heavenly venerate had only just arrived. All of you, kill the 9 divine dragons and that boy. The heavenly venerate's voice rang out. Yes. The heavenly venerate took the order and charged at Lu Ming and the others. Don't even think about it. The third demon sword was shocked. He attacked with all his might, wanting to help. However, the heavenly venerate would not let him do as he wished. You should be careful of yourself. The heavenly venerate said coldly. The heavenly punishment and heavenly extermination powers were activated to a terrifying extent. They bombarded the third demon sword, preventing him from attacking. The third demon sword was not at his peak. He was slightly weaker than the heavenly venerate. If he attacked the heavenly venerate would definitely take the opportunity to severely injure him. Once he was injured, they would be in even more danger. He has the forbidden body, Lu Ming. If you kill him, you won't be able to get the forbidden power. The third demon sword roared. He had no other choice. Lu Ming was his junior sister's reincarnated husband. He could not watch as Lu Ming was killed. If Lu Ming was killed, his junior sister would not let him off. That was why he had shouted that Lu Ming had the forbidden body. He knew that the forbidden power was very important to the heavenly palace. If these people knew that Lu Ming had the forbidden body, they would not kill Lu Ming. At least, they would not kill Lu Ming for the time being. Sure enough, the Heavenly Venerate and the Heavenly Venerate were shocked when they heard the third demon sword's words. Forbidden body? Lu Ming? Isn't Lu Ming on the Dragon Clan's mother planet? I only know that the other forbidden body, Mu Yun, has been captured by our clan and locked in the heavenly prison. This person is not Lu Ming, it's Mu Yun. The Heavenly Venerate discussed quickly. For a moment, they were confused. I know. Mu Yun is Lu Ming, and Lu Ming is Mu Yun. I was wondering how there could be so much forbidden power. Now it seems that we have been deceived. The Heavenly Venerate said coldly. After all, he had lived for countless years. He was cunning and meticulous. In an instant he had deduced many things. Lu Ming could not help but smile bitterly. Originally, the Heavenly Palace thought that Mu Yun and Lu Ming were two different people. The third demon sword's roar was tantamount to exposing his identity. However, he was now on the opposite side of the Heavenly Palace. It was a situation where he would fight to the death. Moreover, Autumn Moon had left the Heavenly Palace. Even if he was exposed, it did not matter. He had used the alias Mu Yun because he wanted to sneak into the Heavenly Palace. Now there was no need. Moreover, now was not the time to worry about the name. The three Heavenly Venerate Masters of the Heavenly Palace were about to arrive. Fight to the death! The 9 divine dragons shouted. Their faces were filled with determination. They had been enslaved for dozens of stellar years. Their hearts were filled with endless anger. Compared to being enslaved, they would rather die in battle. However, in the past, they could not die even if they wanted to. At this moment, they were fearless. They planned to fight to the death with the Heavenly Venerate Masters of the Heavenly Palace. Seniors of the Dragon Clan, why do you need to make such a pointless sacrifice? I have a way to deal with them. All of you, back off and stay away from me. Lu Ming shouted. Then, he rushed forward toward the 3 Heavenly Venerate Masters of the Heavenly Palace. The 9 divine dragons were stunned. Not to mention them, even the third demon sword and the Empyrean were taken aback. Lu Ming had taken the initiative to rush toward the 3 Heavenly Venerate Masters. Was he not walking into a trap? Could it be that he still had some trump cards in his hands? The 2 Heavenly Venerate Masters thought of this. Forbidden body, Lu Ming, suppress him. One of the Heavenly Venerate Masters shouted coldly. He stretched out a hand and grabbed at Lu Ming. Chapter 4264. One of the Divine Masters attacked and a huge palm grabbed at Lu Ming. The palm covered a radius of 1,000,000 miles, covering the sky and the sun. It contained terrifying power. Even if Lu Ming broke through to the God the Arch Realm, he would not be able to escape, let alone Lu Ming who was only at the Divine Emperor realm. However, Lu Ming did not intend to use his cultivation to resist. He took out the purple copper coffin. Now, he could only rely on the purple copper coffin. After taking out the purple copper coffin, Lu Ming pushed the coffin lid without hesitation. Gotcha! The coffin lid was pushed open and there was a gap. A terrifying aura was emitted from the gap. Gotcha! Lu Ming continued to push with all his might. The gap in the coffin lid widened and the horrifying aura became even more terrifying. Even the Divine Masters felt their hair stand on end and they felt a chill in their hearts. What is this? One of the Divine Masters asked in a grave voice. Who cares what it is? He is only at the Divine Emperor realm. What could he have? Suppress him. The Divine Master who had attacked earlier shouted and continued to attack. The huge palm continued to grab at Lu Ming. At this time, an earth-shattering roar came from the purple copper coffin. It was filled with an ancient aura and was extremely violent. Then, a palm stretched out from the purple copper coffin. It was a palm covered with scales. It grabbed one side of the purple copper coffin and pushed with all its might. The gap became bigger. The violent roar was heard again. The palm covered with scales stretched out and quickly became bigger. It grabbed at the Divine Master's palm. With a loud bang, the palm formed by the Divine Master shattered. The palm covered with scales did not stop and continued to grab at the Divine Master. This aura, it is the primordial Divine Spirit. The Divine Master exclaimed. He quickly took out a combat sword and gathered all his strength into it. He slashed out with all his might. The other two divine masters also attacked with all their might. 3 terrifying attacks slashed at the palm covered with scales and collided violently with the palm. Boom, boom. With 3 consecutive explosions, the scale-covered palm was blocked. It quickly shrank and retreated. However, the attacks of the 3 divine masters were all destroyed, and their bodies were forced to retreat. In an instant, they had retreated hundreds of millions of miles. Their faces were pale, and blood spurted from their mouths. They had all suffered heavy injuries. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. As for the 9 peak emperor god divine dragons, they were dumbfounded. What was the purple copper coffin that Lu Ming took out? A palm could actually reach out from inside, and it was extremely powerful. It could severely injure 3 divine master realm experts with a single move. Just then, the strong cultivator from the heavenly palace had shouted that it was a primitive godly spirit. Could it be that there was a primitive godly spirit sleeping in the copper coffin? At that moment, another roar came from within the purple copper coffin. This time, 2 arms stretched out from within the purple copper coffin. One arm grabbed the lid of the coffin, while the other grabbed the body of the coffin. With a push, the distance between the lid and the body of the coffin increased. Then, a figure stepped out of the purple copper coffin. This is... Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This was the first time he had seen a living being step out of a purple copper coffin. In the past, it had only stretched out one arm. This living being was covered in scales and had a burly body. As soon as it stepped out of the purple copper coffin, it rapidly grew in size. In the end, it turned into an incomparably huge figure that stood between the heavens and the earth. It was even bigger than the stars. A primitive godly spirit. The creature that had walked out of the purple copper coffin was clearly a primitive godly spirit. This primitive godly spirit's aura was too strong. It was as vast as an abyss and unfathomable. Just its aura alone was enough to make the void tremble. Its 2 eyes scanned the 3 divine masters from the heavenly palace. The 3 heavenly palace divine masters trembled. This is a master god-level primitive godly spirit? It can't be wrong. It really is a master god-level primitive godly spirit. Oh no, run. The 3 divine masters from the heavenly palace screamed in horror and frantically retreated. Judging by its aura, it was clearly a master god-level primitive godly spirit. This level of being was extremely terrifying. It was the true pinnacle of the primitive universe. It was at the same level as the celestial masters from the heavenly palace. This kind of being was not something they could deal with. If it used its full strength, it could kill them with a slap. In the face of such a being, they could only run. However, the primitive godly spirit that had walked out of the purple copper coffin had already made his move. He took a step forward and his huge body quickly approached the 3 divine masters from the heavenly palace. He slapped down. Rumble. A terrifying force surged toward the 3 divine masters from the heavenly palace. There was no other technique. There was only an extremely powerful and violent force. Extreme force. In the face of this force, the 3 divine masters from the heavenly palace had nowhere to run. No help. Celestial Master, help. Celestial Master, save us. The 3 divine masters from the heavenly palace cried for help in horror. However, at this moment, the 3rd demon sword had used its full strength to block the celestial master. Even if he wanted to save them, it was too late. Bang, bang, bang. No matter how the 3 divine masters of the heavenly palace tried to resist, it was to no avail. When this force pressed down on them, their bodies exploded and their souls were annihilated. The 3 powerful divine masters were killed in an instant. Damn it! The celestial master roared. Kill! After killing the 3 divine masters, the primitive godly spirit in the purple copper coffin roared angrily. He glanced at the heavenly palace's celestial master with a strong murderous intent. Then, the primitive godly spirit charged toward the celestial master. His huge fist was like a star as it blasted toward the heavenly palace's celestial master. The powerful force made the celestial master's face turn serious. He thrust out his long spear, and a heavenly extermination force pierced toward the primitive godly spirit. The two of them collided. Kill, kill, kill. The primitive godly spirit in the purple copper coffin kept shouting. His murderous intent surged as he stepped forward and attacked the celestial master. His two fists punched out consecutively. At this moment, Lu Ming saw a strange scene. There was a silk thread at the back of the primitive godly spirit's head. The other end of the silk thread was connected to the purple copper coffin. This made Lu Ming very surprised. Why was the primitive godly spirit connected to a silk thread? It looked strange, as if it was being controlled by someone. At this moment, the primitive godly spirit was fighting with the celestial master. The third demon sword quickly retreated to Lu Ming's side. It did not join forces with the primitive godly spirit to fight the celestial master. The heavenly palace's celestial master was not easy to kill. Moreover, it was not the time to kill him. The first thing they needed to do was to leave this place. If they were delayed because of the battle with the celestial master, more experts from the heavenly palace would come, and it would be more troublesome. Chapter 4265. Buzz. Dazzling sword light burst out from the third demon sword's hand as it continued to slash at the void, opening up the passage again. The battle between the primitive divine spirit and the celestial master of the heavenly palace was extremely intense. There was no doubt that this primitive divine spirit was at the level of a master god, which was at the same level as the celestial master of the heavenly palace. The two sides were locked in a fierce battle. Even if the other side wanted to stop the third demon sword, it could not do so. In this way, the third demon sword could attack with all its might, concentrating on breaking the void. Streaks of terrifying sword light slashed out continuously, causing the void to ripple like water. Soon, a new crack was slashed out. Whoosh, whoosh. The crack was expanding. A few minutes later, the crack had become extremely large. Fortunately, no other experts from the heavenly palace came during this process. Break for me! The third demon sword roared as it slashed out a shocking sword light. The sword light slashed at the crack. The crack was quickly split open and penetrated. Wisps of starlight filled the air. A familiar aura also came through. It was the aura of the universe. It was broken. The third demon sword finally tore the void at this weak point of the space and opened up a passage. Outside was the primitive universe. Let's go! The third demon sword waved its hand and rushed toward the crack with Lu Ming and the 9 deities. The next moment, they appeared in the universe. That's right. Lu Ming took a deep breath. He had finally returned to the primitive universe. Due to Lu Ming's movement, he dragged the purple copper coffin. At the back of the primordial god's head, there was a silk thread that was connected to the purple copper coffin. At this moment, it was pulling the primordial god. The primordial god could not help but retreat continuously, being pulled in the direction of Lu Ming and the rest. The primitive divine spirit let out an unwilling roar. Its body rapidly shrank and finally turned into a rainbow light, rushing into the purple copper coffin and disappearing. With a clang, the lid of the purple copper coffin was closed again. The terrifying aura also disappeared without a trace. Don't even think about leaving. The celestial venerables from the heavenly palace shouted and rushed over. They wanted to rush through the spatial rift and continue to attack Lu Ming and the others. However, how could the third demon sword allow him to succeed? The third demon sword slashed out a shocking sword light. It passed through the crack and slashed towards the Empyrean. The Empyrean had no choice but to stop and block. As for the crack, it was rapidly recovering. The space here was extremely stable and difficult to break. Once it was broken, the recovery speed was astonishing. It was far from comparable to the ordinary space of the primitive universe. The third demon sword continued to attack, blocking the heavenly palace on the other side. The crack was quickly mending and shrinking. In less than half a minute, the crack had completely disappeared. Damn it, the celestial lord in the heavenly palace roared. Even though he had lived for countless years, he was still incomparably irritable. This time, not only had the third demon sword escaped, but the forbidden body had also escaped. Both of these were very important. The third demon sword was very powerful. At its peak, it could kill existences of the same level. The forbidden body was even more important. Once it grew up, it would be a great enemy of the heavenly palace. Another reason was that it was even more disadvantageous for the heavenly palace. However, both of them had managed to escape right under his nose. Also, what exactly is that copper coffin? It is definitely not as simple as a primitive divine spirit. There is a familiar aura in it. The celestial lord in the heavenly palace fell into deep thought. His face became more and more solemn. He did not continue to pursue. Instead, he left in a flash and went to discuss with the other experts in the heavenly palace. On the other side, the third demon sword did not stop. It took Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons and flew quickly in a direction. Everyone from the Sky Heart clan, I am sorry this time. However, I swear that one day, I will open the heavenly palace's celestial prison and let you out. Lu Ming looked in the direction of the celestial prison and swore in his heart. Due to the special situation this time, they could only leave first. However, he would remember the kindness of the Sky Heart clan. In the future, he would try his best to find a way to save the people of the Sky Heart clan. Senior, where are we going next? After adjusting his mood, Lu Ming asked the third demon sword. Don't call me senior. Since you are junior sister's husband, we are of the same generation. You can call me third senior brother. The third demon sword path. Third senior brother. Lu Ming added. Now, I will take you to the cosmic ruins. Other than there, no other place is safe. The third demon sword path. Cosmic ruins? What is that place? Lu Ming was puzzled. This was not the first time he had heard of this name. Previously, Fei Huang and Ao Qian took the primordial divine lake and the dragon clan's mother planet to the cosmic ruins. Therefore, he was very curious about the cosmic ruins. You should know from the name that it is a ruin. However, it is not a ruin left behind by this era. It is a ruin left behind by the previous era, the third demon sword said. Previous era? What do you mean? The more Lu Ming listened, the more puzzled he became. The word era involved a lot of things. Lu Ming couldn't understand it. Everything in this world will change and have a lifespan. No matter how strong one's cultivation base is, there will be a day when they will fall. Even the primitive universe will wither and end one day. The primitive universe we are in now has withered and ended once. It experienced destruction and was born again. This is called an era. The era before the destruction is called the previous era. The current primitive universe is the new era. The cosmic ruins are the ruins left behind by the previous era. The third demon sword explained. What? Lu Ming gawked and tongue-tied. The time and era involved in this matter were simply too long ago. The primitive universe had 2 eras. One was the incipient God era and the other was the heavenly palace era. The incipient God era was formed after the universe was created. Apparently, the previous era was much older and more ancient than the incipient God era. According to the information we have, the area of the universe in the previous era was much bigger than the current primitive universe. However, no one knows why, but at the end of the previous era, it experienced a world-destroying war. That world was blown up, heading toward the end of the world. All the creatures were killed and disappeared. Then, after a new evolution, it evolved into the current untainted universe. However, only a part of it has evolved into the current untainted universe. A larger part of it is still in ruins. There, you can still feel the traces left by the destructive war of the last era. The third demon sword explained. Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons were bewildered. It was the first time they had heard about this. It seemed like this world had many secrets that they didn't know. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.